The alien ship looked like a crystal made of stars. It hung in Earth's sky above Geneva, Switzerland, beautiful and strange. People on the street stopped to point at it. News cameras focused on its glowing surface. But Admiral Park Dae-ho was not impressed. He stood in the United Nations building watching the alien ship through thick windows. His gray uniform was perfect, every button shining. At 52 years old, Park had seen many things. This was not his first time meeting aliens. "They're here again," said Dr. Kim Nari as she walked into the room. She carried a thick folder, full of papers. Her lab coat was wrinkled from working all night. "This makes 847 invitations." Park nodded slowly. "Same message?" "Always the same," Kim said. She opened her folder and read from a paper. "The Galactic Confederation invites Earth to join our peaceful community of worlds. Come to the Grand Assembly. Learn the ways of galactic civilization." "And our answer?" Park asked. "We'll be the same as always," came a voice from the doorway. President Choi Jae-sung entered the room. He was a thin man with kind eyes, but his face looked tired. Being president of Earth was not an easy job. The three of them watched as a small ship left the crystal vessel. It moved down toward the UN building like a falling star. In a few minutes, they would meet the aliens again. They would listen to the same invitation. They would give the same answer. No. This had been going on for 200 years. The first alien ship had arrived in 2187. Earth was still recovering from the colony wars then. Humans had just learned to travel between stars. They were building their first settlements on other worlds. The aliens had seemed friendly. They brought gifts and knowledge. They spoke of a great community among the stars. Hundreds of different species working together, in peace. No more wars, no more suffering. Earth's leaders had been tempted. The alien technology was amazing. Their medicine could cure any disease. Their ships could travel across the galaxy in days. Their computers could solve any problem. But Earth said no. The aliens left, confused but polite. They came back 10 years later with the same offer. Earth said no again. Then they came back in another 10 years, and another 10 years after that. Each time the aliens seemed more puzzled. Why would any species refuse to join galactic civilization? Why would humans choose to stay alone? Dr. Kim Nari knew why. She had studied every alien species in the Confederation. She had read their histories and learned their languages. She understood what joining really meant. "They want us to become like them," she had told the World Council many years ago. Peaceful, cooperative, dependent on their technology and their rules. But humans were different. Humans had fought their way across Earth for thousands of years. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars. They had spread to the stars through determination and stubbornness. The alien shuttle landed on the UN building's roof. Ambassador Velthorin stepped out, his crystal body reflecting rainbow colors in the sunlight. He was beautiful in the way that all Nexari were beautiful. Perfect and eternal, and completely peaceful. Park, Kim, and President Choi walked to the meeting room. They had done this dance many times before. The ambassador would speak of the wonders of galactic civilization. He would show holographic images of beautiful alien worlds. He would promise knowledge and peace and prosperity. And Earth would say no. "Honored humans," Ambassador Velthorin said as they entered the room. His voice sounded like music. "I bring greetings from the Galactic Confederation Council. We hope that this time, Earth will accept our generous invitation." President Choi sat down across from the crystal alien. "Ambassador, thank you for coming. We appreciate the Confederation's continued interest in Earth. However, our position remains unchanged." Velthorin's crystal face showed confusion. After 3,000 years of galactic civilization, he had never met a species like humans. Every other race had either joined willingly or been forced to join. But humans could not be forced, and they would not join willingly. "Perhaps you do not understand what we offer," the ambassador said. "Peace across the galaxy, an end to war and suffering, knowledge beyond your dreams." "We understand," Dr. Kim said. We've studied your civilization for 2 centuries. We know what you offer and we know what you require in return. The ambassador leaned forward. What do we require? Everything, Kim said simply. You require us to give up being human. This was the truth that Earth's leaders had learned long ago. The Galactic Confederation was indeed peaceful. They had ended war by making everyone the same. Every species in the Confederation thought the same way, acted the same way, wanted the same things. They were peaceful because they had forgotten how to fight. While the meeting continued in Geneva, Captain Li Wujin was returning from a long patrol beyond Neptune. His ship, the Baekdu, was one of Earth's newest scout vessels. It looked like a simple cargo hauler, but hidden inside were sensors that could detect alien technology from light years away. Li had been watching the outer edge of the solar system for 6 months. This was his job, to watch for aliens who might be doing more than just sending ambassadors. What he found made his blood cold. "Command, this is Baekdu," he said into his radio. "I'm sending you something you need to see right now." The data he sent showed 17 different alien fleets all moving toward Earth's solar system. They were still far away, but they were coming, and they were not bringing more ambassadors. Back in Geneva, Ambassador Velthoran was finishing his presentation. He had shown them images of magnificent alien cities, peaceful worlds where different species lived together in harmony, technological wonders beyond human imagination. "This is what awaits Earth," he said. "Join us and share in the greatest civilization the galaxy has ever known." President Choi was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke carefully. "Ambassador, your offer is generous, but Earth must decline as we always have." The crystal alien's face darkened. For the first time in the meeting, he looked angry. "I do not think you understand, President Choi. The Confederation Council is losing patience with Earth's stubbornness." "Is that a threat?" Admiral Park asked. His voice was calm, but his hand moved slightly toward his sidearm. "It is a warning," Velthoran said. "The galaxy cannot allow a species to develop in isolation forever. It is dangerous. It is unnatural. Sooner or later, Earth will join galactic civilization." "One way or another?" Dr. Kim asked. The ambassador stood up. His crystal body was no longer beautiful. Now it looked sharp and dangerous. "One way or another." After the aliens left, the 3 humans sat in silence. They all knew what was coming. Earth had always known this day would arrive. The day when saying no would no longer be enough. Admiral Park's communicator buzzed. It was Captain Li calling from space. "Admiral," Li's voice was urgent. "The aliens aren't just sending ambassadors anymore. They're sending fleets, 17 of them, all heading for Earth." Park looked at President Choi and Dr. Kim. "How long do we have?" "Based on their speed and distance, about 30 days, Li replied. President Choi closed his eyes. When he opened them again, his tired face had become determined. "Admiral, how long have we been preparing for this?" 200 years, sir. Then I think it's time to show our alien friends what humans do when we're cornered." Admiral Park smiled for the first time in months. "Yes, sir. I'll begin activation of Project Horizon immediately." Outside the UN building, the crystal ship rose into the sky like a beautiful star. Ambassador Velthoran was returning to his fleet with Earth's final answer. He expected the humans to surrender when they saw the overwhelming force coming for them. He had no idea that humans had been hoping for this day for 2 centuries. Earth had ignored every galactic meeting, not because they were afraid, but because they were preparing. And now, finally, it was time to show the galaxy what humanity had built in the darkness between the stars. The emergency meeting began at midnight. Deep under the Swiss mountains, in a room that officially did not exist, the leaders of Earth gathered around a metal table. The walls were covered with screens showing star maps, ship positions, and weapon readiness reports. Admiral Park Dae-ho stood at the head of the table. His uniform now carried the insignia of Supreme Naval Commander, a rank that had been secret until this moment. Around him sat people whose real jobs were hidden from the world. General Han So-young looked like a kindergarten teacher. She was small and smiled often, but she commanded every military force on Earth and in the colonies. Her gentle appearance had fooled many enemies over the years. Director Yoon Tae-min was a man who loved science more than sleep. His lab coat was stained with coffee and strange chemicals. For 30 years, he had been building weapons that could destroy alien fleets. Tonight, he would finally get to use them. The alien ultimatum arrived an hour ago, President Choi said. He looked older than he had that morning. We have 30 standard days to send representatives to their Grand Assembly, or they will provide us with integration assistance. Integration assistance, Dr. Kim Nari repeated. She had been translating alien languages for so long that she could think like they did. That means invasion. How many ships are coming? General Han asked. Captain Lee Woo-jin activated a holographic display above the table. 17 red dots appeared, each representing an alien fleet moving toward Earth. 300 ships total, 12 different species. The largest force the Confederation has ever assembled. Director Yoon smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. They think we're still using chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. What do we actually have? President Choi asked. Yoon's fingers danced over his computer. The screens around the room changed to show images that made everyone gasp. Massive ships hidden in asteroid belts, weapon platforms disguised as mining stations, entire fleets sleeping in the dark between planets. Project Horizon has been active for 197 years, Yoon explained. We began 3 years after the first alien contact. We have been preparing for this war longer than most human families have been alive. The images kept changing. Earth's moon was not just Earth's moon anymore. It was a fortress bristling with weapons that could punch holes through alien shields. Mars had been turned into a giant factory producing warships. The asteroid belt hid 1,000 different surprises. How did we keep this secret? Dr. Kim asked. We didn't, Admiral Park said. We kept it hidden. Every mining operation in the outer system was really a military base. Every scientific expedition was really reconnaissance. Every commercial spaceflight carried military equipment. Captain Song, Minho entered the room. He was young for a captain, only 29, but his eyes looked much older. He had been flying test missions in ships that officially did not exist. Sir, he said to Admiral Park, the Phoenix Squadron is ready for operational testing. Show them, Park said. Song activated another display. A sleek ship appeared on screen, black as space itself. It looked nothing like the bulky cargo haulers that everyone thought were humanity's best spacecraft. The Phoenix-class destroyer. Song explained. It can travel faster than any Confederation ship. It can hide from any Confederation sensor, and it carries weapons that can destroy ships 10 times its size. How many do we have? President Choi asked. Currently, 800 completed, with 200 more finishing construction every month. The room was silent. Even these leaders, who had known about Earth's secret preparations, were amazed by what they had actually built. General Han leaned forward. What about ground defenses? Every major city on Earth has underground bunkers that can hold 1 million people, she said. Every colony world has been fortified. If the aliens try to land troops, they will discover that humans know how to fight. On the ground better than any species in the galaxy. Dr. Kim had been studying the alien fleet positions. They're making a mistake, she said. They're approaching Earth like they're going to negotiate with us. Their ships are spread out, not ready for battle. That's because they've never had to fight a real war, Admiral Park said. The Confederation has been peaceful for so long that they've forgotten what warfare looks like. This was the secret that Earth had discovered during 2 centuries of watching the galaxy. The Galactic Confederation was not just peaceful, it was weak. They had built their civilization on diplomacy and cooperation. When diplomacy failed, they used overwhelming numbers to force compliance. But they had never fought a species that wanted to fight back. Captain Lee spoke up from his position near the star map. Admiral, I'm receiving reports from our deep space observers. The alien fleets are maintaining their approach. They expect to be in Earth's solar system in 28 days. Do they know we're watching them? Park asked. No, sir. Our scout ships are still invisible to their sensors. Director Yoon laughed. Of course they are. We built them specifically to spy on alien technology. Every crashed alien ship for the past 2 centuries gave us more information about their capabilities. President Choi looked confused. Crashed ships? They weren't really crashes, Yoon explained. We shot them down very carefully so it looked like accidents. Then we studied everything we could before their rescue ships arrived. This had been going on for decades. Whenever an alien ship passed through Earth's solar system, human forces would disable it in a way that looked like mechanical failure. The aliens would rescue their people and tow away their ship, never knowing that humans had already learned all their secrets. We know how their engines work, how their weapons function, how their shields operate, Yoon continued. We've had 200 years to figure out how to beat them, Captain Song interrupted. Sir, request permission to begin Phoenix Squadron operations. Admiral Park nodded. Granted, begin harassment protocols on the outer fleets. Song saluted and left the room. In a few hours he would be flying into deep space with 7 other pilots. They would attack alien ships that were still weeks away from Earth. The aliens would never see them coming. General Han was studying troop deployment reports. Our ground forces are ready, but I hope we don't need them. Fighting in space is better than fighting on Earth. The aliens won't reach Earth, Admiral Park said with certainty. We've been planning this battle for longer than they've been planning this invasion. Dr. Kim was still worried about something. What if they try to negotiate after they see our ships? What if they offer to leave Earth alone? President Choi's face became hard. Dr. Kim, they brought weapons to our home. They threatened our families. They told us to surrender or be destroyed. He paused. We're not interested in negotiating anymore. This was the moment when everything changed. For 200 years, Earth had been patient. They had said no politely. They had tried to avoid conflict. But the aliens had decided that Earth's choice did not matter. Now Earth would show them what happened when humans stopped being polite. Admiral Park activated the room's main communication system. His voice would now reach every military base. In the solar system, every hidden fleet, every secret weapon platform, all stations. This is Admiral Park. Activate Protocol 7. Repeat, activate Protocol 7. The war has begun. Across the solar system, things that had been sleeping for decades began to wake up. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids started their engines. Weapons that had been hidden in empty space powered up their targeting systems. Soldiers who had been pretending to be miners and scientists put on their real uniforms. Captain Lee watched his displays as friendly signals appeared throughout the system. Admiral, all stations report ready. Sol defense grid is operational. How long until the aliens discover what we've built? President Choi asked. They'll find out when Captain Song's squadron hits their outer scouts, Park replied. About 6 hours from now. Dr. Kim was reading reports from Earth's xenopsychology department. The alien species we're facing have never experienced military defeat. When they encounter something they can't understand, they tend to panic. Good, General, Han said. Panic makes people make mistakes. Director Yoon was already thinking about the next phase. Admiral, after we defeat their fleets, they'll probably send a larger force. We should be prepared for a longer war. We are prepared, Park said. We've been preparing for 2 centuries. We can fight this war for as long as it takes. Outside, the hidden meeting room, the world continued as normal. People went to work, children went to school, families ate dinner together. They knew that aliens had visited again, but they thought it was just another diplomatic meeting. They had no idea that in a few hours, humanity would fire the first shots in a war that would change the galaxy forever. The aliens were coming to force Earth to join their peaceful civilization. They would discover that humans had a very different idea about peace. Human peace came from being strong enough that nobody dared to threaten them. In deep space, Captain Song Min-ho checked his instruments one final time. His Phoenix destroyer was invisible to alien sensors faster than alien ships, and armed with weapons that no alien had ever seen before. Phoenix leader to Phoenix Squadron, he said into his radio. Time to introduce ourselves to our visitors. Captain Song Min-ho had been flying in space for 12 years, but he had never seen anything like this. His Phoenix destroyer moved through the dark like a ghost, completely invisible to the alien sensors that were scanning for threats. The Confederation fleet stretched across space in front of him. 300 ships from 12 different species all moving toward Earth in perfect formation. They looked beautiful and terrible at the same time. Crystal ships that sparkled like jewels, metal, vessels covered in strange patterns, organic craft that seemed to be alive. Phoenix 2, do you see the command ship? Song asked through his radio. The big one in the center, replied Lieutenant Park Ji-won. It's twice the size of anything else. Song studied his targeting computer. The alien command ship was enormous, probably carrying thousands of crew members. But size did not matter when the enemy could not see you coming. Phoenix Squadron, weapons free, Song ordered. Let's give them something to think about. 8 human destroyers opened fire at the same time. Their weapons were unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. Beams of pure energy that could cut through any shield, missiles that could think for themselves, cannons that fired bullets at nearly the speed of light. The first alien ship exploded without warning. The second lost its engines and began spinning helplessly. The third simply vanished as a human weapon tore it apart at the atomic level. Fleet Commander Zheltar was drinking morning tea when his ship's alarms began screaming. The Carathian Empire's greatest military leader jumped from his chair as his crystal bridge filled with panic. Report, he commanded. Unknown attackers, his sensor officer replied. 3 ships destroyed, 5 more damaged, but we cannot see who is shooting at us. This was impossible. In 3,000 years of galactic civilization, no one had technology that could hide from Confederation sensors. Every species in the galaxy used the same basic science, the same fundamental technologies. Launch fighters, Zheltar ordered. Find these attackers. But the Phoenix Squadron was already gone, vanishing back into the dark between stars. They had delivered their message and disappeared like ghosts. On Earth, Admiral Park Dae-ho watched the battle reports with satisfaction. Excellent work, Captain Song. Phase 1 is complete. What's Phase 2? President Choi asked. He was still learning about the military plans that had been hidden from him until now. We let them come to us, Park replied. They'll want to investigate what just happened. When they reach the edge of our solar system, they'll get the surprise of their lives. The Confederation fleet spent the next week trying to find their invisible attackers. They scanned empty space with every sensor they had. They sent scout ships in all directions. They found nothing. Captain Lee Woo-jin watched them from his hidden observation post near Pluto. The aliens were behaving exactly as Dr. Kim had predicted. When they encountered something they couldn't understand, they became confused and made mistakes. Command, this is Observation Post 7, Lee reported. The alien fleet is approaching the outer system. They look very nervous. Good, came Admiral Park's voice. Let them be nervous. In 6 hours, they'll have real reasons to be afraid. Fleet. Commander Zheltar stood on his bridge, studying the star maps of Earth's solar system. It looked peaceful enough. 1 yellow star, 8 planets, some asteroid belts, the normal collection of rocks and ice that made up most star systems. His intelligence reports said that humans had basic space travel and primitive weapons. The recent attacks must have been some kind of mistake. Perhaps weapons fire from a nearby conflict that had accidentally hit his ships. Begin the integration operation, he commanded. Surround the 3rd planet and prepare for occupation. The Confederation fleet entered Earth's solar system in perfect formation. They moved past the outer planets like conquering heroes, confident that they would soon add another species to their peaceful galaxy. They had no idea that they had just flown into the most sophisticated trap in the history of warfare. Commander, Oh Hyun-woo sat in the command chair of the UES Taegukgi, Earth's largest warship. Around him, the bridge crew worked quietly at their stations. They had been waiting for this moment for years. All stations report ready, said Lieutenant Kim Sang-woo from the communications station. Weapons powered and targeted, reported Ensign. Lee Da-yoon from Tactical. Stealth systems holding steady, added Petty Officer Cho Min-ji from the sensor station. Nodded calmly. The Taiguchi was hiding inside a hollowed-out asteroid, completely invisible to alien sensors. Around the solar system, 999 other human ships were hiding in similar positions. "Sir," Lee reported, "the alien fleet has reached the inner system. They're beginning to surround Earth." "Perfect," O said. "Signal all. Ships, execute revelation protocol in 3, 2, 1, mark." Across the solar system, 1,000 human warships suddenly appeared. They materialized from behind moons and planets. They rose from asteroid belts where they had been hiding for months. They decloaked from positions that the aliens had scanned, dozens of times without finding anything. The Sol defense grid activated at the same moment. Weapon platforms that had been disguised as space stations revealed their true nature. The moon opened like a flower, showing gun batteries that could destroy planets. Mars launched fighter squadrons that blackened the sky. Fleet Commander Zheltar stared at his displays in complete shock. Where moments before he had seen a primitive solar system with one inhabited world, now he saw the most heavily defended system in galactic history. "How many ships?" he whispered. "Over 1,000 confirmed," his sensor officer replied in a shaking voice. "And they're all bigger than our ships, sir." Oh Hyunwoo opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. His face appeared on screens throughout the Confederation force, a human in a dark uniform, sitting calmly in a chair while his ship's weapons locked onto alien targets. "Confederation fleet," Oh said in perfect galactic standard. "This is Commander Oh Hyunwoo of the United Earthship Taiguchi. You have brought weapons into our home system. We consider this an act of war." Zheltar managed to find his voice. "Impossible, you're supposed to be primitive. Our intelligence said you barely have spaceflight." Oh smiled. "Your intelligence was wrong about many things. You sent us invitations for 200 years. We ignored them because we were busy preparing for this conversation." Dr. Bae Youngja sat in the Taiguchi Science Lab, monitoring alien communications. As Earth's leading xenopsychologist, she understood how different species reacted to unexpected situations. What she was hearing from the Confederation fleet confirmed all her theories. "Commander," she reported, "the aliens are panicking. They're trying to contact their home governments, but our communications jammers are blocking most of their signals. What about their tactical responses?" O asked. "They don't have any," Bae replied. "These species haven't fought a real war in thousands of years. They don't know how to react when someone shoots back. This was humanity's greatest advantage. While the Confederation had spent millennia building a peaceful civilization, humans had spent those same millennia fighting each other and learning how to fight better. Every human military officer had studied thousands of years of warfare. Every human ship was designed by people who understood conflict. The aliens had forgotten how to fight. Humans had never stopped learning. Lieutenant Colonel Park Ji-hai led the first boarding action in human history. Her Special Forces team used transport technology stolen from alien crashes to beam directly onto a Confederation cruiser. The alien crew surrendered immediately. "Command, this is boarding team Alpha," Ji-hai reported. "Target secured without resistance. The aliens are asking if we're going to eat them." Oh laughed despite himself. "Tell them we're not that primitive." Across the system, similar scenes played out as human forces demonstrated their technological and tactical superiority. Ships that had seemed impossible to detect revealed weapons that seemed impossible to defend against. Crews that had been trained for combat met enemies who had been trained for cooperation. Fleet Commander Zheltar tried one last desperate move. "All ships concentrate fire on the third planet. If we destroy their homeworld, they'll have to surrender." But when his ships turned toward Earth, they found something that made them stop in terror. The planet was surrounded by defense platforms, the size of small moons. Orbital weapons that could crack continents swiveled to track the alien ships. "Sir," Zheltar's tactical officer whispered, "their defensive firepower it's larger than our entire fleet." Dr. Seo Kyung-ho worked frantically in his laboratory aboard the research ship UES Sejong. As the fleet's chief scientist, he was studying the captured alien equipment in real time, learning things that would change human technology forever. "Fascinating," he muttered as he examined an alien computer core. They've been using the same basic designs for centuries. No innovation, no improvement. They've become completely dependent on old technology. This explained everything. The Confederation species had achieved peace by stopping their technological development. They all used the same science, the same engineering, the same solutions to every problem. It made them compatible with each other, but it also made them weak. Humans had spent 2 centuries stealing pieces of that technology and improving on it. Fleet Admiral Kang Dongwu stood before the largest star map in human history. The holographic display filled an entire room deep inside Earth's military headquarters, showing every star system within 1,000 light-years. Red dots marked Confederation worlds. Blue dots showed human colonies. Green lines traced the routes between them. For 55 years, Kang had been preparing for this moment. He had studied every battle in human history, learned from every defeat, analyzed every victory. Now he would put that knowledge to work on a galactic scale. "Status report," he ordered. Captain Lim Hae-jin stepped forward. She commanded Earth's fastest strike group, 12 ships that could cross the galaxy in days. Her crews were the best pilots humanity had ever produced. "Strike Group 7 is ready for deployment," she reported. "We can hit any Confederation system within the week." "And our primary fleet?" Kang asked. 800 ships standing by," replied Admiral Park Dae-ho. "All crews at battle stations, all weapons tested and ready." Kang nodded slowly. The Confederation's integration fleet had been defeated, but that was just the beginning. Soon every alien government in the galaxy would know that Earth had not only rejected their invitation, Earth had destroyed their military forces. The response would be swift and overwhelming. The Confederation would send everything they had to crush the upstart humans before they could spread their rebellion to other worlds. But humanity was ready for that too. Dr. Seo Kyung-ho entered the room carrying a tablet full of information. As chief scientist of the human fleet, he had spent the past 3 days studying captured alien technology. "Admiral," he said, "I've finished analyzing the Confederation fleet's equipment. The news is better than we hoped." "Explain," Kang ordered. SEO activated a display showing the internal structure of an alien warship. Their technology is advanced, but it's completely standardized. Every ship uses the same engines, the same weapons, the same defensive systems. They've been building identical vessels for over 1,000 years. That makes them predictable," Captain Lim observed. "Exactly," Seo agreed. "But more important, it makes them vulnerable. We've learned how to defeat their shields, how to jam their communications, how to disable their engines. Every ship in their fleet has the same weaknesses." This was the difference between human and alien military thinking. The Confederation built their fleets for cooperation and standardization. Every ship could work with every other ship because they were all essentially the same. But humans built their fleets for war. Every human ship was different, designed for a specific purpose. Some were fast scouts, some were heavy fighters, some carried boarding teams, some specialized in electronic warfare. When human ships fought together, they could adapt to any situation. "What about their reinforcements?" Admiral Park asked. Dr. Kim Nari, who had been monitoring alien communications for days, stepped forward. "The Confederation Council is in emergency session. They're calling it the greatest crisis in galactic history." "Because we defeated one fleet?" Kang asked. "Because we exist," Kim replied. "In 3,000 years, no species has ever successfully resisted integration. The idea that someone could build a military force capable of defeating Confederation fleets is causing panic across the galaxy." She activated another display showing intercepted alien messages. "They're mobilizing everything. Every species is contributing ships to a Grand Alliance fleet. They're calling it the Final Integration Force." "How many ships, boy?" Kang asked. "Over 5,000, Kim replied. "The largest military force in galactic history." The room fell silent. Even Admiral Kang looked concerned. 5,000 ships was more than 5 times Earth's entire fleet, but Captain Lim was smiling. "Admiral, with respect, I don't think numbers matter anymore." "Explain," Kang said. "They're going to send 5,000 ships using the same tactics, the same technology, the same thinking that we already know how to beat." Lim replied. It doesn't matter if we're outnumbered 50-1. We're not fighting 5,000 different enemies, we're fighting the same enemy 5,000 times. This was exactly the kind of thinking that made humans dangerous. Where other species saw overwhelming odds, humans saw opportunities. Where aliens saw certain defeat, humans saw interesting challenges. Admiral Kang studied the star map again. The Confederation's reinforcement fleets were gathering in 17 different systems, all preparing to converge on Earth. It would take them months to organize such a massive force. We're not going to wait for them to come to us, he decided. Captain Lim, prepare your strike group for deep penetration raids. We're going to hit them while they're still organizing. Target selection? Lim asked. All of them, Kang replied. We'll attack every gathering point simultaneously. Show them that distance is no protection from human forces. Dr. Seo looked worried. Admiral, that will spread our forces very thin. It will spread their forces even thinner, Kang replied. Right now, they think Earth is the only threat. When human ships start appearing throughout Confederation space, they'll realize they can't protect everything. This was classic human strategy. Use speed and unpredictability to make the enemy fight on multiple fronts. While the aliens concentrated their forces for one massive attack, humans would be everywhere at once, hitting targets the enemy couldn't defend. Captain Lim was already planning her raids. Strike Group 7 can hit the Carathian gathering at Wolf 359, then jump to the Nexari fleet at Alpha Centauri, then hit the Zephyrian forces near Vega, all within 48 hours. The aliens won't expect attacks that far from Earth, Admiral Park added. Their intelligence reports say humans barely have interstellar travel. Their intelligence has been wrong about everything so far, Dr. Kim pointed out. They still think we're using chemical rockets. The truth was even more surprising than that. Human ships didn't just match alien technology. In many ways, they exceeded it. 2 centuries of studying alien science while maintaining human innovation had created vessels that could outrun, outfight, and outthink anything in the Confederation. Lieutenant Colonel Park Ji-hai entered the briefing room. She commanded Earth's Special Operations Forces, the soldiers who specialized in the most dangerous missions. Her teams had already proved their worth during the boarding actions against the Integration Fleet. Admiral, she reported, my teams have finished interrogating the alien prisoners. We've learned some interesting things about Confederation military doctrine. Such as? Kang asked. They don't train for boarding actions because they consider them barbaric, Ji-hai explained. They don't practice damage control because their ships are supposed to retreat when damaged. They don't study irregular warfare because they've never faced it. This confirmed what human analysts had suspected. The Confederation military was designed for intimidation, not actual fighting. They were used to enemies who surrendered quickly when faced with superior numbers. More importantly, Ji-hai continued, they've never developed counterintelligence techniques. Their communications are completely unsecured. We can intercept everything they send to each other. Admiral Kang smiled grimly. Perfect. Dr. Kim, how quickly can we break their command codes? Already done, Kim replied. We can read their orders as soon as they send them. We'll know about their battle plans before their own ships do. The advantage this gave humanity was enormous. Not only could human forces anticipate alien movements, they could also feed false information into Confederation networks. The aliens would be fighting an enemy who knew their every plan while they remained completely blind to human intentions. Begin Phase 2 operations, Admiral Kang ordered. Captain Lim, launch your raids. Colonel Park, prepare boarding teams for ship capture missions. Dr. Seo, I want continuous intelligence analysis on captured alien technology. What about Earth's defenses? Admiral Park asked. Maintain full readiness, Kang replied. The aliens will probably try to attack our home system while we're conducting operations in their space. When they arrive, they'll find that we left them a few surprises. Captain Lim's strike group departed Earth that night, 12 ships vanishing, into the dark between stars. They would travel faster than any alien vessel could follow, appear without warning in Confederation space, strike their targets, and disappear before enemy reinforcements could arrive. The raids began 48 hours later. Strike Group 7 materialized in the Wolf 359 system, where the Carathian Empire was assembling their contribution to the Grand Alliance. 50 alien warships were gathered around the system's main planet, preparing for the journey to Earth. Target the command ships first, Captain Lim ordered. Disable their communications, then work through the rest of the fleet. The human ships struck like lightning. Their weapons cut through alien shields as if they weren't there. Their speed made them impossible to target. In 20 minutes, the entire Carathian fleet was destroyed or captured. Then Strike Group 7 vanished, jumping to their next target before the aliens could even send a distress call. The same scene played out across Confederation space. Human strike groups appeared in system after system, destroying alien fleets that had been preparing to attack Earth. Each raid was perfectly planned and perfectly executed. 6 months after the Seoul Defense War, Ambassador Kim Tae-hyung walked through the halls of Nexus Prime. The capital of the Galactic Confederation was a beautiful place, built from crystal and light, designed to show the peaceful cooperation of hundreds of species. But today, the halls were nearly empty. Many species had recalled their ambassadors when they learned that Earth's fleets were moving freely through Confederation space. Others had simply fled in fear. Kim wore the dark blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps, but the ship that had brought him here was a dreadnought. The UES Docto sat in Nexus Prime's orbit like a metal moon, its weapons pointed at the planet below. The message was clear. Earth came in peace, but Earth came prepared for war. Behind Kim walked a full honor guard of human Marines. Lieutenant Colonel Park Ji-hai led them, her soldiers moving with the precise discipline that had made alien military forces surrender without fighting. They were not here to threaten anyone, but their presence reminded everyone that human diplomacy was backed by human strength. The Confederation Council chamber was a vast dome where representatives of 847 species had once gathered to make decisions for the galaxy. Today, only a few dozen aliens were present. The rest had sent messages saying they were indisposed or unable to attend. Council Speaker Veltharion stood as Kim entered. The ancient Nexari had led the Confederation for over 2 centuries, guiding galactic civilization through its longest period of peace and prosperity. But today his crystal body looked dull and cracked. Ambassador Kim, Veltharion said formally. The Galactic Confederation Council recognizes the presence of Earth's representative. Kim walked to the center of the chamber. Above him, holographic displays showed the current state of the galaxy. Red zones marked areas where human fleets operated. Yellow zones showed systems that had declared neutrality. Green zones represented the few remaining areas under full Confederation control. The green zones were shrinking every day. Honored Council, Kim began, I bring greetings from President Choi Jae-sung and the United Government of Earth. We appreciate the Confederation's invitation to address this assembly. You destroyed our fleets, interrupted Councilor Jackmore of the Carathian Empire. His species had lost over 100 ships to human raids. You invaded our space. You captured our worlds. This is not diplomacy. Kim's expression did not change. Councilor Jackmore, your fleets came to Earth with weapons. Your species declared war on humanity when you threatened our home. We simply responded in kind. We offered you integration into galactic civilization. Veltharion protested. We offered peace and prosperity. You offered surrender, Kim corrected. You demanded that humanity abandon its independence and accept your authority. When we refused, you sent armies to force our compliance. This was the heart of the conflict. For 3,000 years, the Confederation had brought peace to the galaxy by making everyone the same. Every species that joined adopted the same technology, the same values, the same way of thinking. It was peaceful because diversity had been eliminated, but humans refused to be eliminated. What do you want from us? Asked Councilor Nixara of the Zephyrian Collective. Her species had been among the most eager to integrate Earth, believing that human creativity would benefit galactic civilization. We want you to change, Kim replied simply. He activated a holographic projector that showed Earth's terms for galactic peace. The document that appeared was longer and more detailed than any treaty in Confederation history. The Seoul Accords, Kim announced. A new framework for galactic civilization based on voluntary cooperation rather than forced integration. President Choi Jae-sung appeared as a hologram, addressing the alien council from Earth. Despite being light years away, his presence filled the chamber. Honored beings, President Choi said. For 3,000 years, your confederation has grown through conquest disguised as diplomacy. You have eliminated the independence of every species you encountered, forcing them to abandon their unique cultures and technologies. We brought peace, Feltharian insisted. You brought uniformity, Choi replied. And uniformity is not peace. It is simply the absence of conflict achieved by removing everything worth fighting for. The hologram changed to show images from across the galaxy, worlds where different species lived together without abandoning their differences. Technologies that combined alien science with human innovation, societies that were peaceful without being identical. This is what we offer, Choi continued. True cooperation between independent species. Shared knowledge without shared control. Peace through strength rather than peace through surrender. Grand Admiral Yu Sun-mi appeared in the chamber, her image transmitted from the bridge of Earth's largest fleet. She commanded over 200 ships positioned throughout Confederation space, ready to enforce the new accords. The military provisions are simple, Admiral Yu explained. No species may force integration on another. No species may threaten the independence of any world. No species may use military force to resolve disputes. And if someone violates these rules? Counselor Jekmore asked. Then they face the Human Defense Force, Admiral Yu replied. We have proven that we can defeat any military force in the galaxy. We are prepared to do so again if necessary. This was humanity's solution to galactic peace. Become strong enough that no one could threaten anyone else. Instead of eliminating the reasons for conflict, humans would eliminate the ability to wage war successfully. Dr. Kim Na-ri appeared next, speaking from Earth's Xenobiological Research Center. We have studied every species in the Confederation for 2 centuries. We understand your histories, your cultures, your technologies. We know what each of you sacrificed when you joined galactic civilization. The display showed images that made many counselors gasp in surprise. Ancient Carathian war songs that had been forbidden for millennia. Zephyrian art forms that had been abandoned as non-cooperative. Nexari philosophical traditions that had been suppressed as divisive. Humanity offers you the chance to remember who you were before you became part of the Confederation. Doctor, Kim continued, you can rediscover your own cultures while still cooperating with others. Counselor Nixara looked stunned. You would allow us to return to our old ways? We would encourage it, Ambassador Kim replied. Diversity makes civilization stronger, not weaker. The galaxy is more interesting when every species contributes something unique. But not everyone was pleased with Earth's proposals. Counselor, Feltharian's crystal body flickered with angry patterns. You speak of peace, but you enforce your will through military might. How is this different from what you accuse us of doing? Because we are not asking you to become like us, Kim explained. We are asking you to allow others to remain different from you. The Human Defense Force exists to protect independence, not to destroy it. This was the crucial difference. The Confederation had used military force to make everyone the same. Humans would use military force to ensure that everyone could remain different. Director Yoon Tae-min appeared as the final speaker, representing Earth's technological advancement programs. We offer a new model of development, he said. Instead of standardizing technology across all species, we propose cooperative innovation. Each species contributes their unique insights while maintaining their own technological identity. The display showed examples of this cooperation already in progress. Human ships using alien energy sources, but human design principles. Alien colonies protected by human defensive systems but governed by alien laws. Hybrid technologies that were better than anything either species could create alone. This is the future we offer, President Choi concluded. A galaxy where cooperation enhances diversity instead of destroying it, where peace comes from mutual respect rather than mutual surrender. The council chamber was silent for a long moment. Then Counselor Nixara stood up. "The Zephyrian Collective accepts Earth's proposal," she announced. "We wish to sign the Sol Accords." One by one, other counselors stood. Not all of them. Some species were too committed to the old ways of thinking. But enough to begin changing. The galaxy. Counselor Veltharion remained seated until the end. Finally, he spoke in a voice that sounded older than his thousands of years. "You have destroyed everything we built," he said quietly. "No," Ambassador Kim replied gently. "We have given you the chance to build something better." The signing ceremony took place aboard the UES Docto, with human Marines standing guard while alien diplomats put their names to a document that would reshape galactic civilization. For the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy would be governed by principles of voluntary cooperation rather than forced integration. But not every species accepted the new order peacefully. Some worlds declared independence from both the Confederation and Earth's accords. Some species tried to maintain the old system in their own regions of space. Admiral Yu's fleets dealt with these problems efficiently. Human ships appeared wherever. Conflict threatened not to conquer but to enforce peace. Species that wanted to fight each other discovered that humans were prepared to fight them instead. The message was always the same. Solve your disputes peacefully, or we will solve them. For you,